Welcome back, and I hope all is well. You see this here? It is the case rim thickness on the bottom of your case, and it is different on all cases. This is why you cannot get the same primer seating depth. Today, I am going to go deeper into this than ever before so you can walk away with the knowledge of how I fixed this problem and how you can too. Please hit the subscribe, the bell for notifications, and the like button. This really helps the channel a lot. Coming up now. Okay, class. Hey, did you bring enough gum for everybody? Here is my crude drawing. This is a case. I know it looks like a jug of wine. This is your case rim down here. Now here I have 4 examples of case rim and their thickness. Okay, measured, which we're going to do after this part. I'm going to show you measuring case rims. So these are your differences, okay? And this is why you will never get the same seating depth every time, because of case rim thickness. Here are the longest one and the shortest one. You subtract them, you get 22 10,000ths or 2.2 thousandths of an inch. What good is that going to do you when you're trying to seat to say 4 thousandths? You could end up with 6.2 thousandths. Okay? So this is why this has been a problem forever, case rim thickness. People have, you can measure it and sort your brass into case rim thickness and then seat your primers, and you might get 13 out of a batch of 100 that are the same. What good does that do you? None. Or you can seat your primers and then sort your brass by primer seating depth. Again, you're going to end up with 13, 14 that are the same, and all the rest are different. What good is that going to do you? What are you going to do with the ones that are all different? Okay? So this is why this is so important, and why for over the past year or more I have been trying to solve this problem. And I have, but you're going to have to stay tuned. You got to watch this whole video and see how this works. Now we're going to get on to actually measuring some. So I've got a spreadsheet set up here where I will enter the measurements. It'll give us the averages, it'll give us the shortest one, the longest one, and the difference between the shortest and the longest. Right here is my Primal Rights prime wear gauge, which goes to 10 thousandths of an inch. And we're going to be using this fantastic gauge made by Rabbit Hole Precision. The rim and primer gauge, it's called the RPG. I tried to make one of these things myself one time to measure rim thickness, and it was okay, but this solved that. This is really great. So this here, you will see this, which is what this reading is. There's an app for this gauge that'll come on there. So I've got 10 cases here, which will be plenty enough for this experiment. As you see, we're zeroed out. If I go down on this, you'll see it change it on the phone. So we are zeroed. So let's start with the first one. You just press down, slide it in, and let it up. Okay, we've got 0.0532. 0.0532. Next. I know I'm getting in the way here. There's no way around it. 0.0521. 0.0521. Yep, there goes a piece of brass. Ooh, that's pretty close. 0.0520. Get that out of the way before I step that. Yeah, that next bit. Point 0.0515. Point 0.0542. Wow, look at that. Two exactly the same. 0.0542. Boy, don't we wish that was how they all were. Then I wouldn't be making this video and we wouldn't have to worry about it. 0.0518. Point 0.0511. Point 0.0517. And number 10 comes in at 0.0527. Okay, now I'm going to switch to recording this screen. All right, so you can see what we have here. Here's all our readings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I lost one in there somewhere. So, anyways, our average was 0.0525. Our shortest was 0.0511. And our longest was 0.0542. Now, here's the meat of it. Look at the difference here. 3.1 thousandths of an inch. So again, if you were trying to seat at 4 thousandths and you had a good seating tool, I don't care which one it is. You're going to see my videos. I have the CPS primer, which is a $680 primer, which is the best priming tool in the world. So if you were trying to get it seated at 4 thousandths, you might end up with some at 7.1 thousandths. That's just not acceptable at all. You're gonna have point of impact problems everywhere. So now, let's move on to the next part. Okay, so here is what is going on. This here, and down here, this is a crude drawing, I'm not an artist, is your shell holder that holds your shell with your case rim below there. See that? So now every priming tool available uses a shell holder. And this is where the problem comes in. Over here, say this is your push rod from your primer, pushing up and pushing the primer up above there into your primer pocket. So there is slop in here. Everybody knows there's slop in here. And these little black dots down here represent that slop. When your primer rod comes in here and pushes up to seat that primer, it raises the case until the shell holder grabs it. Its lips grab it right here. Now the problem is that distance between there, because of your case rim thickness, which I showed you previously, is always different. So this primer rod, if you've got a good priming tool, is coming up the same amount every time. But the thickness of this, let's really exaggerate it. Say if this was the bottom of your case rim now, compared to that one above it. So this primer rod is going in the same amount, pushing that primer in the same amount, but the bottom of your case could be here or it could be here. So you're going to have that difference every time. This is where the problem of case rim thickness in primer seating is all situated. Right here in the mechanics of your primer seating tool, no matter how good it is. I don't care if this primer rod comes up to the 1/10,000th of an inch accuracy, which none of them do, but I'm exaggerating. Even if it did, it wouldn't matter because this primer rim thickness is different. So it's going up the same amount, but it's seating it different because of your case rim thickness. Next, I'm going to show you how I solved this problem where I can get it to within 0.0007 10,000ths of an inch or better. So plus or minus 3/10,000ths of an inch or better, which is going to have absolutely no effect on your point of impact or your shooting. So that's all I got to say for right now. Now I'm going to show you these tools. All right, what we have here is your normal shell holder. Okay? Everybody see that? It'll only focus so close, so this is the best I can do. Then you have your piece of brass with your rim on it. Now you take your shell holder and you insert your piece of brass. Everybody knows how sloppy that is. Now at the bottom, the face of the brass is whatever measurement it is above the shell holder. But when your push rod from your primer comes in, it lifts the case. It lifts it. See how that's lifting? So you're going to have a different seating depth every time. Now when I first invented, which I'm going to show you next, for the CPS primer tool, the CPS primer tool bracket I invented, when I first made it, we made a pin gauge, okay, that you would insert into the top of your neck. It had to be 1,000 smaller so it would fit in good without changing your neck dimensions. And the bracket would hold it down, which would keep your brass from lifting, going up. And it worked very well. But I had to change that because not too long ago, for the first time ever after seating thousands of cases, I had a primer go off. And that wasn't good. There was no injury, nothing, no breakage of the equipment or anything, just a bunch of black soot around in that. But I didn't like that, so I figured a way to change it. Now this here is made by Short Action Customs. They have the best comparator sets there are. So you'll have your comparator body, and this snaps into it. So I took this and used this. You put it over the top of your brass, and then the bracket goes on there. And I also drilled a 1/4-inch hole in the top of the bracket just in case that 1 in a million thing ever happened again. It would have somewhere to vent. Okay? So now let's move on to the tool itself. This will be the final part of this video, and there is really good news to come up here too. This is my CPS primer. Here's your shell holder. Here's how you use it. You should be able to see that priming rod come up. Okay, this has got a dead stop on it. This is really nice. Now this isn't solidly mounted because it actually mounts down there on the bench. How it used to be designed, as I told you, was to put a pin gauge down your neck and insert your primer, and then this bracket. See how this bracket is designed? You would push it down on the primer and lock it down. Now that shell is in there firmly, pressed to the shell holder. There will be no difference. There will be no difference because now it is not indexing off of the top of the rim thickness, but it's indexing off of the base of the shell. Okay? Now, since I've redesigned this, you use the Short Action Customs headspace comparators. Okay? Of course, you get the one for your brass. Mine's 6BR. So you simply lift up on this now and slide it in, push it down, and boom. There you go. This is touching the bottom again. There's a vent hole up here now. Like I say, just in case one of those 1,000,001 things and a primer goes off, it's got somewhere to vent. Okay? So that covers that. Now I want you to watch this video that I'm going to put on the screen, and it will show using the CPS primer assembly and what the results are. Now to the best part of everything. This here is the Duraco PCPS primer tool. I got this about a week ago, maybe a little more, and I tried using it on my Short Action Customs Nexus press, which it worked, but because of the Nexus press and the way it's designed with the roller handle that goes over the top, the primer tube was just too long. I would have had to cut it down, and I'd be able to get maybe 50 primers in. Plus, you have to turn it sideways, or this part would smash into the plate, because on the Nexus press, which is what makes it such a great press, is the die actually moves down to the press, okay? The press has the shell holder in it below, and the die moves down to it. So it works. If you want to watch that video, watch that video. I'll put the name up here. But this, I am also working on developing a bracket for this. Boy, I can't keep this centered. I'm sorry. So I'm working on a bracket for this. And this bracket will work the same as the bracket for the CPS, and we'll be able to get the same results out of this, I'm hoping. So what I did is I ordered an RCBS rock chucker press. I'm waiting for that to arrive so I can finish my testing on this. And if it works out, I will be keeping the RCBS rock chucker, and I'll use it for seating primers and, decapping or something like that, and save the wear and tear on my Nexus press. And also probably sell my CPS primer. This is 1/3 of the cost, and if I can get it to work the same as that CPS primer, why spend the money? Okay, thank you very much.